Hello, this is Marcus, and I'll be doing a course reflection video. So this is a reflection video on one of the courses that I'm taking currently, being a freshman at Sam Houston State University. In this video, I'll be talking about my experience with the course, things that we've completed throughout the semester, and just my takeaway as a whole now that I'm basically done with the class, this being the last assignment. So first, let's talk about my experience with the class. My experience with this course has been amazing. I liked all the writing. There's definitely some times where I had to kind of push myself and write in a different way than I'm kind of used to. I've had to go through all my writing and just make sure over and over again through a bunch of drafts and processes that I got it to the point to where I thought it was presentable. And even when it was at that point, there would still be something extra to do. So I definitely learned how to revise better. I learned a lot of my weaknesses in writing, which were my run-on sentences. I just just type, but I would never describe. I would never end off a sentence. I would just keep rambling. I wouldn't put the right punctuation. So one of the things that I definitely learned going from this course that I can take into the future as well, into other courses, is to be more mindful of my punctuation. Also, like transition words in between paragraphs. That's something else that I've learned that I need to add. But I feel like at the beginning my writing skills really weren't that good. I would, like I said, just ramble on. Now I feel like it's gotten to a point where I could call it a lot more refined. Let's say that, and I can think more clearly when I'm writing essays now. That's something that this course helped me with a lot. Something that helped me improve would definitely have to be the writing workshops in class, where we would swap our papers with classmates and they would give us feedback about just things overall that we could fix. They would say things that they liked and things that we could do better, and I would say overall that 100% helped. And I would take into account when I'd switch it, that as well as going in person to the library and going to the writing center where they help you. It would get a tutor and just really fix up or refine your essay in general. That helped me a lot. But the number one thing that helped would be when we had to go in front of our professors themselves, and really they would have already gone over our essays and they would highlight in the moment things that could be improved, and she would question us on what could be better. So that was 100% the best overall, because the level of depth and clarity and how to the point she was on what we needed to fix, it was better overall than student tutors and things of that sort. So it helped great, but that's to be expected of a professor, I guess you could say. So how do you think you can use the skills learned in this course for future courses or careers? Well, I think overall, I'm a person, well, in general, I know this doesn't really answer the question, but I'm a person who likes writing. So it's definitely going to help when I write my personal essays. And in the future, I'm going to be writing research reports in classes that I have. I'm actually going to do research next semester, and it's going to help in that as well. And in future careers, I'm thinking of going into business, more specifically some type of finance. So getting more clarity when writing helps you, like say you're doing a presentation or any sort for classes or anything, it's really going to help on that a lot more. Especially since walking away from this course, I know better how to say what I need to say in less words. I can make I can make like my essay or my words really concise and to the point, and that's going to be something that's going to help far into the future, no matter what I go into. But yeah, so things that I've learned in this class about like rhetorical knowledge in the writing process, I really learned how to develop, I guess, what context I'll be talking about early on. So, meaning like early on in the introduction paragraph, like before, I wouldn't really describe what the essay wasn't about. I wouldn't give them a taste of what was to come forward. But I realize now that that's the place where you catch the reader's attention. So you need to catch it there. You need to describe to them what's going to go on, but briefly. You don't want to ramble on in the introduction paragraph. And I realized that that is the place where it all begins. You have to catch it early. I learned how to try to kind of persuade the reader and help them acknowledge my side and where I'm coming from in my writing. I feel like I can articulate, I think that's the word, my thoughts. Or no, I could I can articulate my thoughts better. So that I could say my thoughts in a way that they can understand where I'm coming from, basically. And so that really helps with persuasion. So that kind of ties back into the rhetorical knowledge sort of thing. That helps with that writing process. And so, okay. And so during this whole entire like semester, we've done quite a few essays. We've done essays describing kind of AI's effects on society. We've done music video analysis essay. We've done synthesis essays and research essays. But one common thread throughout each essay, I can 100% say with confidence, is I feel like my writing has gotten better far throughout. I can tell that, number one, through my grade. My grade got better as I continued to write these essays, for sure. And I think that is because I spent more time on the essays. I tried to refine it more. And I kind of noticed my weaknesses going to the tutorings, going to my professor asking for help, going to just getting the feedback from fellow students as well. I really realized that what my weaknesses were, and I started eliminating them as I went on. But my writing process, like a common thread, even before I started this class, it'd always be I kind of just blabble on, I guess, a little bit, just so I could get an idea of what I want to put in this essay. So I'm gonna get the topic, I'll put it in the video, and after I do that, what I do is I start refining it a little bit. I clearly develop my thesis. I start putting the introduction paragraph. I see how I want to hook the reader into the story. And then after that, I just start describing. It really depends on what type of essay I'm doing, but the common thread is that's where I'll start. I'll just kind of blab on a little bit, and then I'm going to start organizing my thoughts. And for synthesis essays, I would just really start reading through it just to get an idea of what I wanted to put in the essay. And then I would, after I read through the whole thing, whatever stuck out to me the most, that would be what would be put in the essay. So I'd read through it, and I started eliminating things that I didn't want in there, and then that's what I would incorporate in there. After that, for the synthesis, I would just put like the works cited. I would go in there, find the authors, then I'd make sure that also I put the in-text works cited. Like if I quoted them, I put whoever their name was, like boom boom, so right after the quote. And then I would make sure that the works cited page on the bottom was the same as well. But yeah, I feel like this class overall has refined all those sorts of things. And that's just a little bit on how my writing processes went. I know for the music video essay, that one was kind of different just because I really watched back the video a bunch of times, and that took a lot more of analyzing. It really was an analysis essay, I'll tell you that. But yeah, that one was actually an interesting one to go through as well. But yeah, process ended up the same. Just really had to pay more attention to details and try to persuade the reader how my perspective is. I don't want to say the right one, but how I had to make it so they have to see where I'm coming from. And so walking away from this, I feel like I'm a better writer as a whole. And yeah, I'm grateful for that. So thank you for tuning into the video. Like, subscribe, comment. Have a good one.